Full Saturday, and you know why, Parker? Because it is a Hogs game day. Welcome in to AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas for the final Southwest Classic, at least here, between the Hogs and the Aggies. Parker, you can just about feel the excitement. We were here yesterday, and fans already starting to make their way out into the city and all the bars and restaurants and everything.
Yeah, I mean, we were out talking to Hog fans yesterday that said they've been tailgating since Thursday. The great migration happened between Thursday and Friday from Fayetteville down here to Arlington, and they have been ready to go for this one of their favorite rivalries is what they told me.
Well, and what they were saying, too, is they look forward to this game. We thought maybe they would be all excited to keep this one in Fayetteville, but it felt like a lot of them really wanted it to stay here.
Yeah, especially students. I mean, Dallas is a huge area for the University of Arkansas, and they all get to go home and watch their favorite team in their hometown, the DFW area, and you know, a lot of them wanted to keep it here, but there are also some that are excited to have an extra home game because we all know with Little Rock in this one, it's, you know, not as many home games as a lot of Hog fans, especially Fayetteville Hog fans would like.
Well, and, you know, he won't come out and specifically say it, but I think Sam Pittman falls in that camp. He might like to get rid of a neutral site game or two a season, maybe just one. That might do well. But honestly, having been in here for a couple minutes, I've walked the outside before, I've been here one other time. Being here in Jerry's world, I don't know how you wouldn't want to come play here. I mean, this is awesome. The Jumbotron just out of view. They got the gigantic Southwest Classic sign up there with the Hogs logo and A&M's logo. Parker, if I'm a player coming in here, I would be all sorts of fired up to hit this field.
Yeah, I mean, think about the history here. I mean, Aaron Rodgers winning his one and only Super Bowl right in this building. I mean, the Big 12 championship has been here every year, and the history of this rivalry being in this stadium is just such a big deal. I mean, you think about the games that they've had here between the Aggies and the Hogs. I mean, the Cowboys, this is the Cowboys' house, the most iconic team in football, I hate to say, honestly, but I mean,
at least you can
house.
admit it, though. I'm happy you can at least admit that. And, you know, I loved what Jerry Jones was saying about this gigantic hole, which is closed today. We are completely indoors. He said he wanted a hole in the stadium so God could watch his favorite football team play. And, you know, I kind of mentioned it yesterday as we were talking about the lead up to this game, that if God got a little bored and decided to tune in on a Saturday while waiting to watch the Cowboys play, he unfortunately would probably see the Hogs losing to Texas A&M. You mentioned the history. It has not been a great one for Arkansas. They are 4-8 all-time here, and we'll go kind of into those memories a little bit later. But I think I want to start this one off talking about the offense, Parker. Arkansas's offense has been great, but they've also had some games where you're wondering what's going on. Talk to me a little bit about that and what we've seen from them so far.
I mean, I think the biggest point right now is that Oklahoma State game. I mean, it was the tale of two halves. The first half was just an unbelievable offensive performance from the entire team. Taylon Green, Jaquindon Jackson, Armstrong had a solid performance. And then in the second half, they just fell apart. Turnovers has been a huge, huge disadvantage for the Hogs so far, especially in that game. And, you know, in the Auburn game, it wasn't quite as bad. You know, there's a few turnovers in that game, but the Hogs are really going to have to deal with that turnover problem, I think, for sure.
But one thing that has been great for them, the rushing attack, whether it's Taylon Green, whether it's Jaquindon Jackson, heck, even Rodney Hill getting in on it, Allen, they like to hammer the rock and they like to impose their will on the opposing defenses, which is something that they said they wanted to do all offseason. They said, we're going to be a running team. Like, yes, we went out into the transfer portal. We got Taylon Green, dude shifty, he's fast, he's going to make defenders look just silly out there. But we want to come out, line up, and punch you square in the face running the rock, and that's exactly what they've done. They are 8th in the country in total offense. Jaquindon Jackson, a top 5 running back in terms of rushing yards, and he's near the top of the country with 8 touchdowns in just total scoring, finding the end zone. That dude has got a nose for getting into the paint, and I mean, he's about as good a transfer as you could really imagine for any team in the country this year.
Yeah, I mean, last year at Utah, there was glimpses. You know, you saw how good he can be. And obviously, he was a quarterback, too. He committed to Texas as a quarterback, which then transferred to Utah and became that running back. And like I said, the glimpses he showed. But now that he is the guy, Sam Pittman said that in his press conference, now that he is the guy, he can really show his talent. I mean, he's done that. 100 rushing yards in his first 3 games. I believe the Auburn game was the first one where he did it, and he still got, I think, north of 70 rushing yards. So, I mean, he's just been at the top of his game this year.
One helping him too, Taylon Green. We got to talk about that guy, right? If you're looking at impact transfers, Jaquindon might be 1, Taylon's 1A. However, he has not been as great, I think, as he could be, and he'd maybe be the first one to tell you that as well. 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, which was a concern when he came in from Boise State. He had about a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio with the Broncos. That's not what you want as a quarterback. As a quarterback, you'd like to see that number 3-to-1, the elite ones 4-to-1, and you might even hit, that S tier 5-to-1 number. He's got to tone back on those interceptions. He's got to tone back, you mentioned it earlier, on the turnovers, because those have just been killers for the Hogs this year. Parker, what are you looking for from Taylon today?
I'm looking for him to establish the run. Obviously, make Jaquindon is going to be huge in that. If we can get Arkansas can get Jaquindon going, that's going to set up the field for Taylon to, read options, scroll or roll out in the pocket. That's his game, and that's what he needs to do. And if he's hitting on the pass game, that's just going to open up the running game even more for him.
Well, something that Arkansas is really great at, time of possession, and that comes with the run, that comes with completing those short passes. 16th in the country in keeping the ball away from the opponents. They're averaging about 33 minutes a game. You gotta love that if you're Sam Pittman. Keep the ball away from the other team. If they can't have it, they can't score. My team can. But let's get back to Taylon Green just a little bit here. What has made him effective? He is, by the way, one of the best passers in the country in terms of yardage. Again, we'd like to see those touchdowns go up, and I think we're going to today. I don't want to make too many predictions, but I'd see him throwing 2 today. I'm going to get into the predictions early. We'll have our game predictions later, but I'm going to say he passes for 2 touchdowns today. And I think one of those might come because of his legs. We've heard how great of a mobile quarterback he is, a dual threat quarterback. They're the hardest to defend, right? If you popped up College Football 25, your archetype is probably mobile quarterback. You were talking to me in the car yesterday. You said, when I create my guy, he's mobile, because they're just so hard to defend. And that's what's made Taylon Green so effective this year. And actually, earlier in the week, I had a little free time. So I hit the touchboard back in studio to break down just exactly how Taylon Green's legs help set up the pass. Take a look. One of the biggest X factors to the success of the Hogs offense this season has been Taylon Green's ability to get out of the pocket, use his legs to set up the pass. And there may be no better example than this touchdown throw to Isaiah Satania in last week's game against Auburn. We had to kind of let the play run a little bit to set up this screen for you, but I'll spark notes it for you. Auburn had 3 safeties, just about all of which are outside of the frame right now, because we're about 7 seconds into this play because of all that time he's been buying. Arkansas's play design, pretty easy. All the receivers just about running verticals except for this running back sneaking across the middle. Now this is where things get interesting, because Taylon Green has broken the pocket. Now the defense has to start thinking, and when they start thinking and not acting on instinct, that's where the big plays happen. The receivers find themselves in a scramble drill. If you're close to the quarterback, you work far. If you're further away, you come back toward him, and you're starting to see that. Offside receivers working toward the quarterback. Luke Hogs is starting to bend back to see Taylon, and Andrew Armstrong is working this hook route back toward him. But Isaiah Satania, he's the sneaky one. Sneaky, sneaky. These 3 safeties seeing all this movement back to Taylon Green, so their eyes are starting to jump these routes. Isaiah has now snuck behind one of those safeties, and we know how the play ends. Take a look. Taylon Green's broken the pocket. Isaiah's already passed him because their eyes were looking at all the receivers working back. And then he just makes a tremendous catch to really have the turning point in the game in this one. If Arkansas doesn't get that, all the momentum is with Auburn, and Taylon Green making it happen. Look for more of this against Texas A&M, and he's going to need to do it because Arkansas's offense really has been the most effective when he's doing stuff like that and buying time. Unfortunately, Parker, the buying time comes from the pressure that the line is let through. Now, granted, some of the times the defense is just that good. Taylon's holding on the ball. He's got to move a little bit, try and get those receivers open, but the offensive line could protect him just a little bit better. The pressure rate, we'd like to see that come down, and even Sam Pittman said it. Mateos is probably thinking it. Taylor will never say it, but he would probably like to feel a little more safe. Being a former quarterback myself in high school, I always loved knowing that those big boys were keeping the defense off of me. And when you just have that presence of mind in the back of your head, you just feel so much more comfortable, and you read the defense just a whole heck of a lot better, honestly. And I'm not saying Taylor's been doing that poorly this year. I mean, he's got a top 25 receiver in Andrew Armstrong. However, Taylor is also at about 54% completion percentage for the year, which you'd like to see that number in college. 62 maybe, give or take, and I think that's going to come with a little bit better protection as the offensive line sort of feels their way through this SEC play and gets an idea. I mean, look, SEC lines, they're just a different breed of animal. Let's be real. These are big boys. This is not UAPB. This is not UAB. This is the SEC, and I mean, they're just large. I mean, when you're down on the field pregame and you stand next to these guys, they're mountains of human beings. Parker, the offense, we've talked about it, been boom, been bust. You have a couple points you want to get through about how they can be successful here today.
Yeah, and we talked about my main point, and that's the run game. Jaquindon Jackson and Taylon Green. What I think they have to rush for combined in order to have a great chance to win this game, if they can combine for 150 yards between the two, I don't see A&M being able to keep up with that. But if A&M's able to stop that run, that's going to force Taylon to make some uncomfortable decisions, and that could lead to those turnovers we were talking to.
Feeds right into that 54% completion percentage. You get them under pressure, get them moving, throwing the ball away, you're going to watch that completion percentage drop.
Yeah, and that's going to lead me into my next point, which is Andrew Armstrong. He's the best receiver on this team, and in order for the run game to be strong, you have to have a receiver you can rely on, whether that's making 50-50 contested catches
100%.
Or that's being a distraction, letting the safety follow him to lead another receiver open. That's going to make life so much easier for Taylon Green. That's going to allow him to roll in the pocket and make a decision whether he should pass the ball or just scramble for first down.
And having a receiver like that, I mean, the 50-50 balls, you go to a casino or a sports book to put a bet down. If you said your odds are 50-50, you got to like those. And Andrew Armstrong, the way he's been playing, you might even edge that to a 55-45 type of odds. And Taylon Green is definitely going to be looking his way today. They can take advantage of this Texas A&M secondary.
Oh, they sure can. But my final point, it's actually not going to be on the field, but it's going to be on the sideline. And that's between Petrino and Texas A&M now head coach,
that's a good one.
Mike Elko. Now everyone knows, at least we know, Mike Elko is one of the best defensive schemers in college football. But Petrino, he knows how to run an offense as well. If it's going to be a chess match between those two guys, maybe for Petrino, he's going to have to do a little motion. Maybe a trick play or two might come in handy against such a poised defense in Texas A&M. That is going to be a huge matchup to watch between Bobby Petrino and Mike Elko.
I'm sorry, are you saying Bobby P is going to reach in his bag of tricks and dig deep and pull something out today?
I'm saying it's a possibility, and if they do it, especially after they establish that run, maybe they get the pass going a little bit, it might actually work.
Look, Bobby P, he looks like he'd be an old school coach, but I would not be shocked to see some sort of flea flicker, the pass back to Taylon. I absolutely love that point. I would love to see that. I mean, nothing gets a crowd hyped quite like a trick play.
And a Philly special with Taylon Green catching that ball, that might get the Razorback crowd going crazy. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it would.
But it might. Now, to your point about A&M's defense, they're 62nd against the run. They're giving up about 130 yards per game in that regard. 51st against the pass, 189 yards per game. So there are definitely spots that Arkansas can take advantage of, especially with that high-powered 8th-ranked offense in the country. The run game, like you said, is where it all starts, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if they can get downhill, just the offensive line, if they can get off the ball and force the D-line back 2 or 3 yards, Jaquindon Jackson's going to get through a hole. He's going to find it.
Well, Parker, we've been talking for quite a bit about the offense, but we are not the only ones involved in this game day experience today. We might be in the nice cold. I mean, it's really air-conditioned in here in AT&T Stadium. Hopefully it warms up when 80,000 screaming fans join us. But joining us now in studio is the one, the only, Robin Hearn. Robin, Give us a little breather here. Talk to us about this game right now as we near kickoff for Arkansas, Texas A&M in their 81st meeting in this series.
Yeah, guys, this game has a lot riding on it, not just because it's the last time that they're playing this game in AT&T Stadium, but the regular season as well. But this Arkansas team wants to make a name for themselves. This game is exactly the time to do so. That's what's on my radar coming up in kickoff in just a few minutes, and it's centered around quarterback Taylor Green. I know we've been talking about him a lot in this pregame show, but he is the focal point right now for this offense. Since fall camp, offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino has talked about finding their identity as an offense, and the run game was just that. But Green has proven throughout the season so far that he knows how to use his legs, but his confidence in his passing ability is what's holding him back a little bit. His teammates have even mentioned having to tell him to relax on the field a few times throughout the game so far this season. Could be nerves or just could be trying a little too hard, but whatever it is, for the Razorback fans' sake, let's hope that it's behind Green today, and this is the 5th start of the season, so it should be like riding a bike. And Green does know how to settle after a while and finish what feels like what he saw in the Auburn win, where he led his offense on 3 scoring drives after sitting out at the beginning of the second half dealing with cramps. But guys, that's my main focus for the Hogs, is this offense truly, since the defense has proven that they know what to do as they go out there and shut it down. Credit to defensive coordinator Travis Williams is in his first year here for the Razorbacks. But Alex, I know you broke down Williams' defense a little bit better earlier this week. What makes them stand out, like with the likes of TJ Metcalf in that secondary?
Well, really, Robin, they have been shutting people down like they didn't pay their electric bill. This defense, when they've been great, or when they've been on rather, they have been great. However, we have seen them struggle a little bit. Last week, complete mixed bag, honestly. It's like when you get home from Halloween, you open up your trick-or-treat bag, you got your top tier, your A-tier candy, you got your Reese's cups. Got to be the pumpkins, which, by the way, they put double peanut butter in those things. That's why they're so good. So that's why the holiday editions are always better. But you reach in, you got some of those, but then you get down there and you kind of get the unwanted candies. I mean, I don't want to throw anything in particular under the bus, but we all know. We all know the type of candies you're setting aside. You maybe pay the dad tax with those. Last week, Arkansas, 5 takeaways. That was their season. I think they had 2, I believe, coming into that game. They had 5, and incredibly, TJ Metcalf, a part of 4 of those. Directly involved in 4. He punched a ball out. He had 2 interceptions himself, and then he also tipped another interception to a teammate. Parker, talk to me a little about the defense, what we can expect from them against the Texas A&M offense that obviously no longer has Bobby Petrino at the helm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the secondary is they've struggled, but they've also been good. Like last week, they showed how good they can be. But the key is Marcel Reed is going to be the starting quarterback for the Aggies, and he's very inexperienced. And think about coming to Jerry World in, I believe, his 3rd start ever. He's going to struggle if the Hogs can put some pressure on them. The Hogs need to make a little pressure on him, make him make some uncomfortable decisions, and that's going to free up the secondary to make those plays that you saw him make last week against Auburn.
And to kind of further your point, Texas A&M is a running team. They are 8th in the country, putting the rock in their running backs' hands and letting them go. However, Arkansas is great at stopping the run. They're averaging about 90 yards per game. They're ranked 15th in the country and keeping people out. So to your point about making Reed pass the ball, it's going to be strength versus strength. If Arkansas can stop that Aggies rushing attack, I think Reed's going to be in for a long game because he's young, as you pointed out. So was Auburn's QB. And we saw exactly what happened. Dude got benched in the second half. They said, we cannot trust him. Get him out of the game. Get him sipping on the Gatorade. Get him ready for next week. Get him some orange slices. But get that man off the field. We got to get some help out there. And they turned to the veteran Peyton Thorne, who also threw an interception. But I'm going to go ahead and give that one to his receiver, which, by the way, in the year of our Lord 2024, I don't know how we don't have a stat for tip balls when it's clearly the receiver. So that might be my quarterback bias showing there. But we got to get a stat to get those interceptions off the quarterback. But I digress. Back to Arkansas and A&M today. This defense swarms the football, or at least they did last week. I think a lot of this, too, is up front. They've got to get pressure on Reed. How do you expect to see them do that? You think they're going to have to bring additional help from the linebackers on blitzes, or do you think they can get it done up front with just their down linemen?
I mean, I think with the pressure that they have, like look at Landon Jackson. I mean, I saw him on Thursday getting ready with the B-dubs, and now he's going to be on this field and he's going to be ready to attack. Especially now, I do believe one linebacker is going to have to play a little safe. Reed, he can run. He is a fast runner, so a little QB spy is going to be key. But for the rest of the guys, if they attack and force him out of the pocket with that spy ready to attack, I think that's the way to limit the yardage for the Aggies today.
Now, the problem, though, with sending pressure like that is that you're going to leave your secondary on an island, which we've been praising them this whole time, seeing how great they've been with their 5 takeaways last week. They also have a tendency to give up the big play. And that is a huge problem with this Texas A&M offense, because when you run the ball, when you're 8th in the country running the ball, hit them with a little play action, pull that ball out, maybe have a receiver fake that block, and then sprint right up the field. The seams are there to be taken advantage of. But again, with defense, you got to kind of pick your poison. Do you want to sell out to stop that run, make that young quarterback beat them, which I think is what they're going to do, make Reed beat them, or do you play it safe and just die by 1,000 cuts? Now, we've been talking for a few minutes now about the good and the bad for Arkansas, and once again had some free time at the touch board, and I broke down a little bit more about why they are, or what they do that makes them so good and what makes them not so great on some of those bigger plays. So let's take a look. Well, so far this season, the Hogs defense has been good, but they could be great. How do they get there? Well, being more consistent with their play. We're going to give you 2 examples here of great Hogs defense and then not so great Hogs defense. The first, we always start with the good. Arkansas is going to be in a cover 3. He's got a zone, he's got a zone, he's got a zone. This is the concept, trying to keep things easy for their young quarterback is Auburn. You've got a hook right here, and you've got a seam route by the slot receiver. This is the quarterback's read man. If he takes the seam, he throws the hook. If he slides to the hook, the quarterback throws the seam. Now, this is where Arkansas is disciplined, on the same page, but they do things a little tricky to fool this quarterback. You're going to see the slot defender turn his hips just enough to make that quarterback think he's going with the seam before sliding to right where he was going the whole time, jumping that hook route for the first of 4 interceptions, or 1 of 4 interceptions on the day. There's the turn, and he just slides right underneath. That is disciplined defensive football. Now, for the not so good, when Arkansas is not on the same page. 1st and 10, 3rd quarter, Arkansas up 7-0. This is pretty easy. Arkansas is in a cover 3. You got a third, and you're supposed to have a third. But what he actually does is steps up to the receiver. He doesn't think that the coverage is what the coverage actually is. He thinks he's got this safety help over the top. Auburn has the perfect play call on. This receiver's just going to bend inside the zone and then bring it back outside. You've got to be on the same page on defense or the whole thing falls apart. Should be an easy play to defend, but instead it turns into a big gainer and an Auburn Tigers touchdown. Arkansas's defense has to play more consistent throughout the rest of the year, and it needs to start against Texas A&M. It's a winnable game, and it could give them the confidence to stand up to those bigger opponents down the line. And speaking of bigger opponents, the Texas A&M team is taking the field behind us, and as we said earlier, yeah, those are some big dudes. I would not want to go against them, but getting back to the task at hand and how do they beat these guys coming onto the field behind us, consistency. That is the word. Arkansas's defense has to be consistent. They have to be disciplined. You know, when you're a kid, you make your bed every day in the morning because it creates routine, creates discipline. They got to be making their bed today. They have got to stay on their assignments. They cannot get caught out of place. They cannot be miscommunicating, getting the wrong calls. You do this. I thought you had to. You can't be bickering. You have to be on your best when you're playing SEC football. Parker, walk me through some of the points, what you're looking for on defense here.
All right, well, hopefully they don't hear this because, you know, that I don't want to give them any insight that they don't already have. But
they've all got their Beats by Dre. I think we're good.
Their headphones and their AirPods in, so
I can't
we should
afford
be
that.
good.
I need some NIL.
Yeah. We already talked about my main one is stop the run. A&M has been great running the ball this year. That is their biggest strong suit on this offense. They have to stop the run and force the Aggies to pass the ball today.
I would agree. I think it all starts in the trenches. I know that is one of the oldest football cliches in the book, but cliches become cliches because they're usually true. That's just the sad facts of it. You've got to win up front. Their linemen win, they run the ball, Arkansas loses. Our guys can get some pressure, stay in their lanes, make good open field tackles, another key. I mean, that's a key number one. If you're playing defense, is tackle. Probably should have led with that one. But Parker, point number 2, what you got?
It's the other asset of the offense, the passing game. They have to put pressure on Reed and make him make those uncomfortable throws. That's what they did last week. That's what brought Peyton Thorne into the game, took Hank Brown out of the game, is they made them uncomfortable, made him make bad decisions that the DBs could capitalize. That's why they got 4 interceptions, and that's why they got another turnover on the fumble. 5 turnovers in the game was huge, and if they can do half of that today, that would be a huge, huge win for the Hogs.
One problem with that, though, Reed has not thrown an interception yet this year. He is clean in the INT department. However, I guess I made a prediction for the offense. I should probably throw one out. I think he throws his first today to that Hog secondary.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, he hasn't had the greatest competition. I mean, he played Florida, who is in a very off year, likely going to be losing a head coach at the end of this year, as well as Bowling Green, who they allowed 20 points, only won that game by 6. Now, obviously, he didn't throw that interception, but, once maybe the Arkansas defense is a little bit of a step up from those 2 teams, and I think he's going to be feeling something a little today.
I would hope so. No disrespect to Bowling Green, but SEC football, completely different beast. But as these players do take the field, as we get closer and closer to kickoff, as I check my phone here, we're about 2 hours out. The fans are also starting to make they've been making their way out. Yesterday, the tailgates were already starting when we got here a couple hours ago, and we're gonna head out to one of those, talk to some of those exciting fans. We're getting some help today, a nice little assist from THV and Nick Luttrell. Nick, how is it going out there, man? I can start to hear you in my IFB. It sounds like a party.
Alex, it definitely is. We're getting ready, getting excited. You guys ready to go? We're excited. All right. I'm here with my good friend Rick. And Rick, how's it feel to be out here?
It's nice, man. I mean, it's good to be the last time here, but it's been fun the 15 or so years that we've been out here. It's a fun time. It's a great game.
Now, this isn't your tailgate. We have your tailgate a little bit further down. But how long have you been out here? How's it been so far?
So the gates don't open until 10:30. We got here at 8. So these guys were gracious enough to let me come hang out with them for a little bit. Anyway, but it's a fun atmosphere. It's a fun tailgate. There are a lot of people walking by saying hi. It's a fun time.
I got to ask your opinion about this because everyone's talking about, this is the last game being played in Cowboys Stadium. Do you like that? Do you like that it returns back to the home and home series next week or next year, or you prefer for it to be here?
Yeah, it's good to go back to home and home because it's sad to lose a home game to come in here every other year. So it's good to be home. I wouldn't mind coming back to like a non-conference like Arkansas, Texas Tech, or maybe Arkansas, some other team that's not in the SEC. So, but it's a fun time. It really is a fun time, and I'll miss it. But it'll be nice to be back in Fayetteville next year.
And Rick, I've talked to you a few times. I know you have expert analysis about how this game will go. If Arkansas needs to win, what do you need to see out of Taylon Green and the offense today to get the win?
Well, first thing, he's got to stop hurdling defenders. If he stops doing that, because I don't want him to get hurt, but no, I think it's good. I think our offense is going to click today. I'm excited, and T-Will's got the defense going crazy.
All right, and quick little game for you. It's true or false, okay? Bobby Petrino is undefeated when he's coaching inside this stadium. True or false?
True.
That's true. It is true, yeah.
With A&M, they beat us last year when he was with A&M. So.
And then, of course, he coached with the Razorbacks as the head coach from 2009, 2011, I believe. We had the Cotton Bowl where Arkansas got the win there. What kind of confidence level does it give you as a fan for Bobby Petrino to be coaching this game with the Razorbacks this year?
Oh, super high, super high. I think we're just scratching the surface after 4 games. It's going to get even better the rest of the season. All
right, lastly, score prediction. Hogs going to win it?
35-20 Hogs. Taylon Green hurdles only one defender today.
All right, I like it, Rick. Thanks so much for joining me. We're going to have a hog call here. Let's do it. Lead the hog call. Let's go. Alex and Parker. We'll send it back to you guys.
Parker, you just want to finish the show? I'm gonna go with Nick. I'm gonna go out and tell. You know what? I like my paycheck. I like being employed. I guess I'll finish the show.
Okay, but I mean, we could go out and just get a little dance party. I mean, they got the music blaring now.
They did.
So.
They heard the tailgate and decided that we needed to up it here. They've got the music blaring. Texas A&M has cleared the field, which means the Hogs are probably coming up next on the field. Now, as Nick mentioned out there, Bobby Petrino, undefeated here at AT&T Stadium. Unfortunately, we cannot say the same for the Hogs here. They are 4-8 all time. This one, unlucky number 13. But maybe, just maybe, the misfortune that they've had and the unluckiness of that number will cancel each other out. You throw in a little Bobby Petrino magic, and they pick up a win here in the finale. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that they have a great chance. Now, obviously, since A&M joined the SEC in that 2013 season, this is going to be the actually 9th game, because that 2020 year they played in College Station, which don't talk to Sam Pittman about because he's still not very happy about that one. And the Hogs also would go on to lose that game as well. But the Hogs have only won 1 of the 9 games since A&M joined the SEC in this stadium, and hasn't been the greatest memories for the fans in these seats in the red.
It certainly hasn't. That's probably the understatement of the day so far. However, you know, we can always kind of look back with the rose-colored glasses. It's been fun to play here, and it's never goodbye. It's just until next time. But maybe this time it might be goodbye. And so with that in mind, let's go ahead and take a look back at some of the, I don't want to call them best memories, but some memories from their games played here at AT&T Stadium. What better place to start than the beginning? And oh my gosh, look how far we've come in TV technology. The year was 2009, the first time these two played the Southwest Classic at AT&T Stadium. And in the former Hogs house, Jerry World, the Razorbacks absolutely took it to the Aggies. Ryan Mallett had 4 touchdowns and 271 yards. Joe Adams had 110 of those as the Hogs called in a 47-19 win. It would be the first of 3 straight victories. And then the Dark Ages. Skipping ahead to 2014 in the Brett Bielema era, this game, the first one back at AT&T after the two switched to true home and away games for a few years. And as is the MO most years in the Southwest Classic, this one was a close one. The two teams battled into overtime where Kenny Hill would throw his 4th touchdown of the day. Arkansas would then need to try and answer, but Alex Collins, he had 131 yards on the afternoon. He needed 1 more to keep the dream alive, but he was stopped on 4th and 1. Ball game, Aggies 35-28. But Big Red wants you to also remember the good times in Arlington too, though it would take until 2021 for those to come along again. This one, a top 20 battle, number 16 Arkansas against number 7 A&M. Hogs jumped out early and never looked back. KJ Jefferson, weird stat line in this one, 7 of 15, but 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. But Hogs fans, remember this name, Treylon Burks. Have yourself a game, young man. 6 receptions, 167 yards, and a score as the Hogs upset the Aggies 20-10. A year later, they were back and looking to win consecutive games against the Aggies for the first time since they won those 3 in a row in 09, 10, and 11. KJ went full-on beast mode that day, 276 total yards and 3 touchdowns, getting his team into a position to take the lead with a field goal with 1.5 minutes left. But what ensued? The now infamous Oink Doink, Cam Little, who went on to be arguably the GOAT kicker of the Hogs, hit the upright as this time the 23rd Aggies would take down the 10th ranked Hogs by a final score of 23-21. But all of that is in the past, and the only thing that matters is the here and now. And if the Hogs can win this one, they ride off into that Southwest Classic sunset with the trophy and bragging rights forever, or until they renew this again in just a few years.
Yeah, guys, seem like a
which
fun
we can
one
only
there.
hope they do, because I have loved being here on the field at AT&T. Sorry, Robin, I didn't mean to cut you off on that one. I'm just so excited to get going. We've looked at the memories. We've talked about the offense. We've talked about the defense. There's only one thing left to do, and that's predictions. Go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, guys, I think this is going to be a fun one, but I think the Hogs are going to get the upset here, but it's not going to be as high scoring as we probably are going to think. I'm going to say 27-21 Hogs on top. What about you guys?
I like that one. I like that score. I'll go ahead and go last, so that way if I'm wrong, I'm the last thing people remember. Parker, what's your prediction?
Yeah, well, I'm with Robin actually on this one. I think the Hogs will pull off this upset, and I think it is going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's a little lower than Robin thinks, and I'm going to go 21-17 Hogs.
All right, so we got 2 for Arkansas. Do I play devil's advocate? Well, we saw Texas A&M take the field. We're seeing the fans start to make their way in here on the field. We've got the Arkansas team now on the field behind me. All factors considered, I'm taking the Pigs. Woo, Pig, let's go. It's going to be 31-27. I would not be shocked to see the Aggies up 27-24 late in the 4th. Taylor Green leads a game-winning drive to make it 31-27. Let's go Hogs.
Wow, bold prediction. Even the game-winning drive is what you're predicting.
The game-winning drive.
That's a bold one.
And you know what? I know Nick asked that gentleman in the parking lot tailgating about Taylor Green hurling. I might even say he throws in another crane kick for good measure on the drive. Why not? Let's get crazy as a prop bet.
When you're at AT&T Stadium, why not, right?
And Parker, when you're at AT&T Stadium, and you're at AT&T Stadium on a Saturday, and you're at AT&T Stadium on a Saturday in the fall, there's only one thing you got to be doing, and that is watching the Southwest Classic, the 13th and final meeting between Arkansas and Texas A&M at AT&T Stadium. Kickoff coming your way. Oh, in just under 2 hours now, Parker. I personally cannot wait. This has been an absolute blast getting you ready for this game. The 81st overall meeting. We all say the Hogs get it. Parker, it's been a fun one, man.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure being here, being on this field with all the iconic things that have happened on this field. It's been an honor being here with you, Alex.
Well, there's only one thing left to do, Parker. We're going to shut it down. We're going to get some food, I guess a couple of things, and then we're going to watch Arkansas and A&M kickoff 2:30 on ESPN. We'll have all of your post-game coverage in our 6:30 newscast as well as our 10. For Parker Abels, for Robin Hearn, I'm Alex Stewart. Let's go Hogs.